security, which was a vicious cycle because that made people more angry. Although Stasi was never as bad, it has been pictured here. Many of you have seen that film, The Life of Others. This is basically a distortion, a terrible distortion. I mean, such things happen, but this was basically very well-made film, but a distortion of the life in the GDR. Because over this Stasi, we used to tell jokes about it. Unless you were in some way in opposition, then you had to be worried. Or to be or what they considered opposition. It was sometimes more than really was opposition. But otherwise, I can give you one sample that my son heard that this new section of a building was reserved for Stasi families. And he heard that and he was curious, and he was walking by one day and he saw a little boy on a tricycle. And he said to him, "Oh, tell me, little boy, what does your daddy do?" The little boy lisped and said, "I'm not allowed to say," which made it pretty clear where his father worked. What I'm saying is that it wasn't so as if everybody was in. People talked very freely among themselves about everything, except when they were in public meetings, whether it was a trade union meeting or at school or in some meeting. They didn't say anti-GDR messages. It could cost them a bonus. They thought, they feared, or maybe a better vacation spot, because vacation spots were very cheap, but not, and you had to wait for them sometimes, and that was some bit of. So they were a little careful, but otherwise you talk often with strangers about without fear. So that this picture was really very false. At the same time, people were angry, and that's what happened in 1990 when the unification came, and there was an absolute clear out. The universities, all social science teachers were thrown out. That means history, law, languages, and of course political questions, all thrown out. History, they're all thrown out. The ones in natural sciences were tested with, they had to meet with their rivals from West Germany who decided whether they were morally good or not, which meant whether they had been too left-wing at college. And a lot of them were thrown out too, which meant that not only in the universities, but in all fields, the West Germans took over. In the judges, the professors, the school principals, even running and administration, even the sewage, and in all cases, it was usually second or third string people from West Germany who came over and got these jobs and acted like they knew everything better than the people there who didn't understand it. They were just primitive. And for this, they got a Bush bonus. They got a bonus for having to live in the East. But a lot of them didn't live there. They commuted. And the story was a lot of them commuted. That meant weekends at home, but weekends were long. So they were known as the demi-dos. That's D-me-do. That's the German word for abbreviations for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And they were Monday and Friday, but they were there Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. In any case, that's what happened. And now you have a united Germany, and the problems which the GDR faced, one of them was completely different. First of all, the security is gone. Medical care is still much better than here, but now I have to pay for glasses partly. It's subsidized, so I do have to pay, but not nearly as much as here. Hearing aids, it's subsidized. Prescription drugs, I have to pay, not too much, but I have to pay. This rehabilitation, I went once. It was much more difficult to get. In the old days, it was easy to go to one of these cures. It was difficult to get. It was only 3 weeks, and I got the medical care was paid, but not transportation, food, or lodging. So that everything has been a drop, and people are afraid this is getting worse, and the hope, and then the number of real jobs is less and less. There are more and more of these precarious jobs, without knowing how long it's going to last. In any case, these problems face Germany today, and they face it today because today there are elections, this time not for the European Union, which is not directly governing Germany, but will reflect thinking. And therefore, I'm wondering how much the right-wing's Christian Democratic Union, that's Merkel's union, who's now here at Harvard, or the Social Democrats, who are in coalition with the conservatives for many years and have basically sold out, to put it briefly. Or there's a small party which is also right-wing. There's a Green Party, which is nothing like the Green Party here. It's very conservative in many. It's for ecology, and it's for women's rights, and it's for immigrant rights. But it likes to get ecology cooperating with big business. And they're not interested in working class questions, and they've betrayed them. And they're not interested in peace. That's the main question. The left party is the one that says no German troops outside of Germany. Yeah. We've had enough of that in the past century. None. It's basically a question of imperialism. Whereas the Social Democrats and the Greens say, unless the left changes that position, we will never coalesce with them in a national government. These are the questions that are issued. And now, in closing, I'll mention the news of just 3 days ago. Has anybody heard of the name Rezo? Except my host, who I've been filling full of news about it. A young fellow named Rezo, R-E-Z-O, 26 years old, went on YouTube, what was it, 3 or 4 days ago, with a 55-minute broadcast, talking uninterruptedly for 55 minutes, occasional side shots of others, blasting the Christian Democratic Union and the Social Democrats, and doing it with facts. I think 500 facts.
247.
How many?
247 facts.
447. One after the other, and doing it in quick, made for young people. He had a little funny cap and a blue hair, and the whole thing was made for young listeners and young watchers. But it immediately became viral. It was spread and spread and spread and spread. The last was 10 million, I think. 10 million viewers have watched this Rezo, and it's the talk of all Germany. By the way, he also, luckily, he told people, go to vote today. Go to vote, but don't vote for the CDU, and don't vote for the Social Democrats, and don't vote for the fascists, the AFD, the fascists. Don't vote. He didn't say who they should vote for. Some will vote Green, some may vote left, I don't know. But he said, do vote. It's really turned Germany on its head, evidently, in these last 3-4 days in an extremely positive way. Sometimes good things have to happen. And it seems to be all they're talking about. In the schools, it's passing more, and with YouTube, it's not like a news, it goes on and on and on. The Christian Democrats, and especially, are trying to answer, but they have no answers. And the Social Democrats are trying to say, yes, it's pretty true what he says, but they still want to sound left, but he slammed them too. So that this is a new hope in the German scene. Tomorrow, we'll know some of the results. And I'm going to close on that note.